Markets with a V-shaped rally off of the lows here, but are the lows in, or is another trap here ahead of the FOMC? We've got a critical rate decision tomorrow. We've got Microsoft earnings after the close here, and of course, Apple, Amazon on Thursday. But first here, we've got to get through the last 10 minutes, and that's what I'm going to try and take you into right now. So if you recall this morning, if you caught the live stream on our show, What's Moving Markets, before the open, we talked about 670 on QQQ. And I said, there's a very good, and I said this yesterday too, but is that even better today, is that we kind of dipped on Korea, right? But we really, before the open, we were only down like, a stone's throw, like spitting distance from the low set at 10:40 a.m. yesterday, right? And Korea was down 11%. It's up 5, or it's down 5 now because of the New York market, but it was down 11%. Lots of margin calls, lots stories like that going on, and those are always great for opportunity. But nonetheless, I noticed NQ wasn't down that much, so that kind of confirmed the seller exhaustion narrative I was talking about. And you can see here, it's very prevalent on the NQ 4-hour. As well as QQQ, and I mentioned this yesterday as well. If you just go back the last year, anytime this touches oversold, it's a buy, right? Maybe not right away, but very close, with the exception of Liberation Day, where we just had that like total washout there at the end. But then, of course, that led to a major low. But nonetheless, the point is, we said, well, we're either gonna try and dip on the open and then rally immediately, or they'll try to take us to 670, and I would be a buyer there. And that was the case, so it worked out very nicely here. So check that show out. So we gave out that level very much so in the morning here. And again, we can give out the levels, but I can't give you the exact entry, exit, and risk management in real time. That's what we do at 8:45 every day. I don't know if I'll be doing it tomorrow because it's FOMC day. We'll see. If you guys want to, let me know in the comments. But if you want to be in the live trading room, that's at carnivoretrades.com, where we take trades like this every single day. We have a sale going until Friday at midnight, so join in. Anyways, market here with a nice gain. Is the low in, though? That's the big question. You may have noticed on my chart here on NQ, we've hit some levels here. Where's this blue trend line coming from? I have not erased that. That's been there since the lows in 2023, right? So Jan 2023, 1, 2, 3 hits, breakdown, washout sell, then it acts as resistance. We break above it, it's support, boom, we break down, it's resistance, down, up, and then we just blew through it. All right, so now we're back testing it finally for the first time. So first hit, best hit usually, and it should give us some sort of a reaction here, which we are seeing now. You can also see just below that, and the reason I've got these fibs on here, we got the 50% fib retrace, and if you just drag that across, basically, this is why charts are cool, this is why markets are cool. Notice how this just lines up with the previous all-time high, like almost exactly. So very, very big levels hitting here, right? SMH. 525. We talked about the SOX at 475. Got the 480, pretty close. Hit the 100-day. Swept the lower end of the trend line. And another thing too on the Qs here, everybody loves these diamond patterns, right? But you can see this right now. What if it's just a bull flag, right? We're into the weekly 20 MA right now, so you're no longer overbought on the weekly. What if this just is range support and we go break out again? I went on if you're in the trading room, you guys can validate this. I went on an absolute rant this morning about, like, you guys, and I say this all the time, you guys better buy. I don't want to hear it. When are we going to get a dip? You got to buy it when they give you this price action. Oh, but the AI capex and the straight format. No, just buy. You buy the dip. You buy the fear. It doesn't matter what's going on. This is when you have to jump in, and it's also it's like totally uncanny here. A Citadel, raising. They said the Fed's going to raise in a surprise move. So first of all, who the hell? If you had that alpha, why the hell would you give it away? Number one. Number two, why would they want that out there, right? And it's just funny. So funny how we hit all these major levels here on the Qs and they just happen to bounce. right after we flushed out on that report. And what else is interesting too? Why is TLT up? Why is ZT up? Right. Interesting. So is this a low? I think we're close, and I think that the NQ here above 28K, 28.1 with some conviction. Yeah, we're gonna have a mega squeeze. That could last several days, maybe weeks, maybe even a more sustainable low. Let me flip over here because I like this cleaned up chart better and I have it drawn in more. But flip over to TV, it's the same thing here. But you can see like the hourly here. I mean, like, look at this. This is beautiful right here. This is a picture perfect. I mean, I just said earlier, like, I just can't be a seller here. I just don't think the risk reward is good. But and then looking on the daily, you don't have the oversold there yet, but I mean, yeah, we went through this 3 days ago, but we could pop through that in one day and trap shorts, right? So this is a possibility. I will say this though, like I said on Monday, I think we're in for a lot of chop this week. We're rallying. I would rather us be down and pinned to 670 going into tomorrow, for longs, than what we just did, because now it's like you kind of, the bears kind of got fooled a little bit, like, and the bulls like, oh, see, this is it. We got a tail candle. We got the 100 MA pierce. So maybe we have to flush out a little bit more. They didn't technically touch the 50% fib on the NQ. It's close. Like if we bottomed here, it wouldn't surprise me, but a lot of the time, the market takes the worst route to get to where you already know it's going to go, right? Is it's got to get the most people off the train first. So anyway, that's what we're going to say about that. Outside of that, cash S&P, hey, still in the range, still holding that trend line there. 7,400 is obviously the magical level. So below that, we could, drop 100, 150 points pretty fast, maybe down to that 100-day. I just don't see the cues. I just don't see how much there's going to be that much more downside here in the near term. And if it is, it's going to have to be a rubber band break situation, which means we're going to bottom really quickly in V shape. So I just don't think the risk reward here is good for shorts. At least not right now. So there's the cues. The IWM here, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Dow either. But it was up 1% and off the highs. So that's great, isn't it? By the way, micro stink. This might be the first stock to buck the trend. I mentioned that earlier. So I'm just going to talk about it since we're about to close here. But this one might actually be able to pump on earnings. And I'm not saying it's going to, but it's got a better chance of it than every other stock I've looked at, because your LG1's actually at 430 and we're at 395 right now. So as long as it holds 390 on any dip, or even like 380, the positive gamma could take it up there. If it doesn't though, well then yeah, it's gonna, I don't like any of these levels. And there's the bell, but just to throw that out there for you in case you want to gamble on it. I don't know if this video will be up fast enough, but yeah, whatever. The Dow, micro stink, SMH. We talked about the SOX there. Nice level. IGV had a nice day as well. Transports were down a little bit here. Oil got hammered. As soon as I saw Zelensky and Netanyahu at the White House at the same time, I was like, they're gonna hit oil. And then that did come in a little bit. It's off the lows, but back below 80 a barrel. TLT, I mentioned, that did rebound here. 81 is LG1 for the whole week, so I don't think that really unpins from here. XHB is still got to get back above that 111.5 area. IYR, I did take profits on that with the swing trades. So finally, I've been in this for a minute here, but this looks like a monthly chart breakout to me. I might come back in a little bit or something like that by the end of the week, especially if tech bounces, but I did take some profit on this finally. And it was a pretty large position too, because this is a slow mover. So that was a nice gain there. And yeah, I like this pretty much just back to all-time highs, honestly. So very nice to see that for IYR. Banks held up very well. New all-time closing high for XLF. KRE is not far off. Broker-dealers had a nice day as well. Back to oil here. All I'm hearing about is the manipulated this, manipulated that. Okay, well, it went right to the 618, like perfectly. So I mean, the charts still work. Everything still works. I just see a lot of macro cope, to be honest. XLE backing off a little bit here. Really kind of violated those trend lines, didn't it? And then came back in. Kind of a messy chart. Maybe if it split these moving averages here, the 50 and the 20-day tomorrow, that could be like a little 1-day scalp. But and there's XOP doing the same pretty much right there. OIH, that looks weak with a lower high there. I don't like that. So careful with that. Dollar got hammered, but it did come off. It did come off the lows. So dollar bulls are holding up here. So this is, bull flag, and now it's starting to put in another mini bull flag here. Gold still is very stubborn. Please go down. Just get it over with, right? And then they can start printing money to bail out all these hyperscalers. And then they can go back up again. So no updates on any of these here. All right, no changes. Copper had a nice pop, but came back in. And then Bitcoin was fractionally higher, and it just defended. Excuse me. All it did was really just defend that inverse head and shoulder neckline. So you still have, we just take this at face value, you still have that bull kind of breakout there, but no follow through here. It feels like it needs some help. But it's all there. It's all there if it wants it. Let's see if microstink moved. Not yet. Maybe I thought they report pretty on time. It's usually like 4:05, isn't it? Well, anyway, we'll see what we get here. Yeah, if that gets above 400, that could get some momentum going, and that would obviously help out NQ a lot. It would probably make the semis come in though, so I don't know about that. But anyways, we'll wrap it up here. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. We'll see you guys all in the morning.